My friends, there comes a time when a nation must pause and look itself in the mirror, a time when we must ask not what divides us, but what will carry us forward. Right now, we are living in a moment where words are heavy, where choices define not just headlines, but the very future of our children. And in moments like these, leadership must rise above ego, above noise, above the temptation to tear one another down. Because this is bigger than one man, bigger than one election, bigger than one argument on a stage. This is about the soul of a country that has always been tested, but has never been broken. If you have ever felt frustrated by the chaos, if you've ever wondered whether truth still matters, if you've ever questioned whether unity can survive division, then I want you to lean in, because the message I'm about to share is not about politics. It's about purpose. It's about what we owe to one another and what kind of legacy we leave behind. And I promise you, if you listen with an open heart, if you listen not as a partisan, but as a person who believes in something greater, then by the end of this message you will know why hope is stronger than fear, why truth will always outshine lies, and why the power to shape the future has never left your hands. The call for unity and integrity in leadership is not just an abstract principle, but a necessity for the survival and growth of any nation that seeks to move forward with strength. True leadership is not about amplifying divisions, it is about bridging them. It is not about feeding anger, but about channeling energy towards solutions. When a leader stands before the people, every word spoken has the power to either unite hearts or scatter them further apart. Integrity is the foundation upon which unity rests, because without honesty, without truth, without a clear moral compass, unity becomes nothing more than a temporary illusion. People may follow out of fear, they may obey because of manipulation, but that is not unity, that is control. Real unity requires trust, and trust comes only when leaders embody integrity in both their words and their deeds. When a leader speaks of service, it should be a service that lifts everyone, not just those who already hold power, wealth, or influence. Integrity means acknowledging the struggles of the unheard. It means protecting the dignity of every individual regardless of race, faith, or political belief. Integrity in leadership is not convenient. It is tested in the moments when standing for what is right comes at a personal cost. That is when the measure of a leader is revealed, whether they choose what is easy for themselves or what is just for their people. Unity is not uniformity. It does not mean silencing differences or forcing everyone into the same mold. It is the ability to hold differences together without letting them break the bond of shared purpose. A nation thrives not because everyone agrees on everything, because they believe in something larger than themselves. When integrity guides leadership, disagreements are not threats, they are opportunities to learn, to compromise, and to grow stronger. It allows a leader to disagree without disrespect, to challenge without demeaning, and to argue without destroying. That is the essence of democratic strength. The absence of unity and integrity creates cracks in the very foundation of society. Division feeds distrust, and distrust feeds chaos. When leaders exploit fear, they plant seeds that grow into hatred, resentment, and ultimately violence. Integrity requires rejecting the temptation to stoke anger for applause or spread falsehoods for political gain. It requires resisting the urge to demonize opponents, Because leadership is not a battle for enemies to be defeated, but a responsibility to serve even those who stand on the other side of the line. The call for unity and integrity is a call to remember that the office of leadership belongs not to the individual who holds it, but to the people who entrusted it. Leaders are caretakers of that trust. When they elevate the truth above self-interest, when they choose compassion over cruelty, when they embrace service over ego, they create a spirit of unity that can outlast any storm. A nation with leaders of integrity does not crumble under pressure. It does not lose faith in the face of difficulty because its people know they are not being led into darkness, but guided toward a horizon of hope. Accountability and responsibility are not optional traits of leadership. They are the very essence of what gives leadership its weight and legitimacy. When a leader speaks, the words do not simply vanish into the air. They carry consequences, shaping the thoughts, emotions, and actions of millions who are listening. When a leader acts, the effects ripple through communities, institutions, and generations. This is why accountability is so critical. A leader cannot stand above the truth, cannot run from the consequences of their choices, and cannot pretend that their position exempts them from the same standards of honesty and morality that bind every citizen. Responsibility means owning the impact of decisions, even when it is uncomfortable, even when it would be easier to deflect, distract, or place the blame on others. When a leader fails to take accountability, it sends a dangerous message. That power grants immunity. That influence excuses deception, and that the rules do not apply equally to all. That perception eats away at the faith people place in their institutions and their democracy. Once trust erodes, it is not easily restored. Responsibility in leadership is not only about correcting mistakes, but about acknowledging them with humility and transparency. It is about standing before the people and saying, yes, we fell short. Here is what happened, and here is how we will make it right. That act of courage builds credibility because people are far more willing to forgive a leader who admits the truth than one who hides behind lies. The absence of accountability breeds recklessness. When a leader believes they will never be held responsible, they are tempted to manipulate, to distort, to push boundaries without concern for the damage left behind. This is where misinformation, division, and chaos begin to thrive. Words spoken without responsibility can stir anger, create confusion, and incite actions that cannot be undone. A leader who misuses their voice for personal gain risks not only their reputation, but the very stability of the nation. Leadership without accountability becomes nothing more than unchecked ambition, a dangerous force that can unravel the bonds of community and democracy. But responsibility is not only about facing the consequences of failures. It is also about recognizing the immense privilege of being trusted with leadership in the first place. To be in that position is to hold the hopes and fears of millions in your hands. Responsibility means rising each day with the awareness that every policy, every statement, and every choice affects the lives of ordinary people. The parent trying to raise a child in a safe neighborhood, the worker struggling to put food on the table, the young student dreaming of a better future. Leaders who embrace responsibility make decisions with the long-term good in mind, not the short-term applause. When accountability and responsibility guide leadership, they create an environment where truth is respected, trust is protected, and justice is upheld. They remind the nation that no individual is above the law and no leader is bigger than the principles of democracy. A leader's legacy is not defined by how loudly they spoke or how fiercely they fought, but by how responsibly they carried the weight of the people's trust. True responsibility is a commitment not to self-preservation, but to the preservation of the nation's values, its integrity, and its promise to future generations. Hope and a forward-looking vision are the lifeblood of progress, the very thing that allows a nation to move beyond its current struggles and reach for something greater. In moments of division, uncertainty, or fear, it is hope that reminds people that the present is not permanent, that challenges are not unbreakable walls, but hurdles to be overcome. A leader who carries a vision of tomorrow does not dwell on the failures of yesterday, nor do they exploit today's frustrations to score political points. Instead, they speak to the possibilities that lie ahead, painting a picture of what could be if courage, determination, and unity are chosen over despair and doubt. This is not blind optimism. It is a belief rooted in resilience, a conviction that no matter how dark the hour, the people hold the power to shape the dawn. Forward-looking leadership means reminding people that progress has never been easy, that every generation has faced obstacles which seemed insurmountable until brave men and women stood up and refused to surrender to fear. It is about carrying that same spirit and applying it to the challenges of today, whether they are economic hardships, social injustices, or political divisions. A vision for the future calls on people to imagine what the nation can become when it leans on its highest values: justice, equality, opportunity, and to understand that those ideals are not abstract dreams but achievable goals if the nation stands together. Hope fuels resilience. It gives people the strength to endure hardship because they believe the struggle will lead to something better. Without hope, despair sets in, and despair erodes not only individual spirit but collective will. A leader who provides vision helps redirect anger to action, fear into resolve, and uncertainty into determination. They do not deny the difficulties of the present, but they frame those difficulties as chapters in a larger story of progress. They remind the people that even in the most trying times, history has proven that resilience and unity can lead to breakthroughs. A forward-looking vision requires courage because it asks people to invest in what they cannot yet see. It requires trust that the sacrifices made today will result in a stronger, fairer, more prosperous tomorrow. Leaders who embody this vision understand that cynicism is easy, that anyone can criticize or predict failure, but true leadership inspires belief in what has not yet been built. They challenge the nation to dream boldly, but also to work diligently, because hope without action is only a wish. Real vision is not just words. It is a plan, a path, and a promise that the future can be brighter if people are willing to walk it together. In times of division, a hopeful and forward-looking message cuts through the noise of anger and fear like a clear bell. It lifts eyes from the ground and directs them toward the horizon, where possibility lies. It tells every citizen that they are not powerless, that their voices and actions matter, and that the future belongs to them if they are willing to claim it. This keynote is a reminder that no storm lasts forever, and with hope as a compass and vision as a guide, a nation can rise above its challenges and move confidently into a tomorrow worthy of its people. Leadership is not about power or pride. It's about truth, unity, and the unshakable hope that together we can build a future greater than our divisions.